我也讲在哪呢？呢呢呢呢呢呢呢呢呢呢。 Interesting. I dare say these are some nice bazongas. Quality, quality. Lol, like eyes. くだらね。 CSP. Nothing works.
Actually understanding the functionalities of the fill tool and its subtools. Last year I took a big step and transitioned from Photoshop to become a Clip Studio Paint artist, and one of the first features that blew my mind in Clip Studio Paint was the fill tool. So if you're coming from Photoshop or something similar, you're probably not even aware that a fill tool with the right properties can be such a game changer for your efficiency when you color your artwork. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Nadia Axel. I'm a professional self-taught digital art tutorial. Accessing the fill tool and subtool properties. When you open Clip Studio Paint and select the fill tool in the toolbar, it's the bucket icon right here, you should be able to see two windows open up, a tool property window and a subtool window. If one or both windows do not show up, go to the window menu and make sure there's a check mark next to tool property and subtool. Your default settings probably look like this, and even if they don't, do not worry, because we'll be changing the values around a lot. I've opened a file containing the line art for my drawing. It's Jinx from Arcane, by the way, in case you didn't figure it out. Out here in the layers window, you can see that my line art is on its own layer and it's called line art. And below it is just a white background. How you decide to structure your layers is totally up to you. Sometimes I have all of my flat colors on the same layer, and sometimes I divide each section of the character into separate color layers. It really depends on the individual drawing and the artist's preferences, so do exactly how you want to. And I will just call it flats. So here is the demonstration and walkthrough of the magic of the fill tool in Clip Studio Paint. The refer multiple property, refer all layers. Select your flats layer or whatever your empty color layer is named and pick a color. Just make sure your color layer is below the line. Wait a minute, why does the fill tool color inside the lines when I am not on the same layer as my line art? If it's on a separate layer, how does it know where the lines are? Or multiple. When you activate this property, you can choose from all layers, reference layer, selected layer, and layer in folder. In my properties, I ask the fill tool to take all layers into consideration when it fills in colors. So all the layers you might have out here in your layers window will be taken into account when the fill tool is being used. Look what happens if I uncheck the refer multiple property. So it just fills the entire layer with the same color property back on, and selecting all layers simply means what you see is what the fill tool sees. Even if your line art is scattered in 5, 10, 20 different layers, if you can see it, the fill tool refers to it for guidance. Say you have outlined some background elements on a separate layer than your character. If you choose refer all layers and start coloring your background on a separate color layer for your background, of course, you'll notice that the color does not bleed all the way behind the character. For For some people this is fine, but I would personally prefer the background to fill the entire canvas, so I can move my character around later if needed without there being a big blank gap in the background layer with your character on when you're coloring the background. The fill tool can't see a hidden layer, and you can always just turn it back on afterward. The fill tool can't see a hidden layer, and you can always on when you're coloring the background. The fill tool can't see a hidden layer, and you can always just turn it back on afterwards. However, this is not always a good solution, especially if you're working on bigger pieces with a lot of layers. So another way to get around this is to use a reference layer. Go back to your properties window and under refer multiple, select the little lighthouse icon, which is the reference layer option. Now go take a look in your layers window. Anything here look familiar? I'm waiting. Well, if you look closely at the top of the window, you'll see another icon with a lighthouse on it. Select the background layer and click on the lighthouse icon. Or you can right click on the thumbnail of your layer and select set as reference layer. See how the lighthouse now shows up on your layer? That means that now this layer is your reference layer. And if you now select your color layer for your background and go grab the fill tool, you'll see that the fill tool ignores all other layers except for your reference layer. In other words, what you see is this, and what the fill tool sees is this. And it doesn't matter how many different color layers you create, as long as the line art layer remains your reference layer, all the fill tool sees is this. Select the layer and the layer in folder. The last two options of refer multiple are just other variants of what your fill tool refers to. Selected layer only refers to layers you click a little check mark on. It's like using a flexible reference layer that you can quickly turn on and off, and you can have multiple layers selected at the same time. Layer in folder only refers to the layers in the folder which you are currently working in. The close gap layer that you can quickly turn on and off, and you can have multiple layers selected at the same time. Layer in folder only refers to the layers in the folder which you are currently working in. The close gap property. If you're like me and sometimes do not close off your line art completely, you'll likely have experienced the fill tool finding all of these little gaps and letting the color bleed through them onto the entire canvas, sending you on an hour-long search for small gaps in your line art to absolutely no one's pleasure. In Clip Studio Paint, you can ask the fill tool to not only ignore, but also fill in these gaps for you as you color. The 5 bars represent the size of gaps that the fill tool will be looking for. You can further specify a gap size value by clicking on the little arrow out here and type in a number. The gap size will differ depending on how small or big you draw your gaps, and it also depends on how big your canvas is, since gaps will be bigger the bigger your canvas is. So if you're using this feature, try with small gaps first, and if that is not enough, just adjust the gap size property accordingly until you find some kind of a sweet spot. Using a higher value of the close gap property may result in the fill tool not being able to reach narrow spaces in your line art, simply because it thinks there is a gap in your line art that it needs to close. To avoid this, the first thing we need to look for is to make sure you have a setting active called Fill Narrow Areas. You can check it by clicking the little plus icon next to the close gap property. If this icon is not there by default, simply go to the window menu and select Subtool Detail. Here you can click the little eye icon to unhide any hidden properties. Once you make sure that Fill Narrow Areas is turned on, but the fill tool still cannot get to the narrowest part of your line art, just increase the value of the tolerance property until you get the desired result, which leads me exactly to the next subject, the tolerance or color margin property. The tolerance, also known as the color margin, refers to the tolerance in the difference of colors when coloring or making a selection with the selection tool. The reason I mentioned the selection tool is because it also has a tolerance property, and it works in the exact same way as the fill tool's tolerance. I'll try to explain this concept with some visuals. Look at this gradient. It goes from white and all the way to black. And now pick a color, set the tolerance to 60, and click in the white area. The fill tool now fills up a big chunk of the gradient's range with my color. If I change the tolerance down to 30, it fills less of the same range. And if I lower it even further to 5, it only fills a very small portion of the gradient's entire range. The value of the tolerance is set from the value of the pixel you click on. That means if you click in the black area instead of the white like we did before, the tolerance runs from that point instead. In other words, the tolerance determines how close the next color has to be regarded as the same color. I know this can be quite hard to understand, so let me show an example with some colors. Here I have colored the hair and the skin on the character Jinx, and they're on the same layer. Say I want to change the hair color, but not the skin color. I pick the new color and fill it in with my fill tool by clicking on the hair. But the new hair color bleeds all the way into the skin. This happens because the tolerance of my fill tool is quite high. In other words, the fill tool does not distinguish between the hair color and the skin color. But if we lower the tolerance, the fill tool can now easily distinguish between the hair color and the skin color, making it possible to recolor the hair without affecting the skin. The amount of tolerance you'll need depends on your specific color, so try some different settings to find some kind of sweet spot for your current drawing. The tolerance tool or the color margin property is especially helpful if your line art is not, well, solid and crisp. I often use a semi-transparent brush or a textured brush to line my artwork, which gives the line art kind of a blurry or uneven look if you zoom in. Sometimes I even use my line art brush to shade a bit, making it more difficult for the fill tool to fill entire areas, because it sees the shading as lines that it needs to separate the colors from. In those cases, you can turn the tolerance up when you use the fill tool. This also eliminates a lot of white or empty pixels along edges. And here's an example where lowering the tolerance value might be more helpful for you. If you're going to paint in some details on your character using only the colors and not line art, in this case I want to paint some stripes on Jinx's pants, you might experience the fill tool just coloring past your colored area, which is frustrating. But try to lower the tolerance in these cases, so Clip Studio Paint can now better differentiate between the base color and your detail color. A lower tolerance now lets me paint within the area between the two colors. The area scaling property. Another crucial property of the fill tool in Clip Studio Paint is the area scaling. Activating area scaling simply means that when you put down a color with the fill tool, the colored area will extend itself a little further, so you will avoid those nasty white and empty pixels by the border of your line art. Yuck! Looks so... It is important that your area scaling property the fill tool, the colored area will extend itself a little further, so you will avoid those nasty white and empty pixels by the border of your line art. Yuck! Looks so... It is important that your area scaling property is using the scaling mode called ToDarkestPixel. You can access the scaling property by clicking the little plus icon next to the area scaling property. ToDarkestPixel is probably your default setting though, but just check to make sure. This setting means that when you are using area scaling, the colored area will be extended, but only extends to the darkest pixel in your line art, preventing the color from overflowing past the lines. Here's an example with 3 individual sets of circles. The top circle have thicker line art and the bottom ones have thinner line art. On the color layer below the line art layer, I will fill in the circles with different amounts of area scaling. In the first 2 circles, I turn area scaling off. In the next circles, I add the value of 5, and in the last ones, I max out the area scaling with a value of 20. Now when I lower the opacity of the line art layer, you can see how far the color has extended at the different area scaling values. Be aware that using high values of area scaling and tolerance simultaneously can give some results that require some cleanup. They sometimes even seem to work once I max out the area scaling with a value of 20. Now when I lower the opacity of the liner layer, you can see how far the color has extended at the different area scaling values. Be aware that using high values of area scaling and tolerance simultaneously can give some results that require some cleanup. They sometimes even seem to work against each other, and a lot of artists consider these 2 properties to kind of be the same thing actually. However, that is not true, as the area scaling only extends colors, while tolerance determines which colors are considered different colors or the same color. But now that you know how both properties work, you can find a sweet spot for your drawing where these 2 properties supplement each other the best instead of fighting each other. And finally, I want to share a few features and tips on how to optimize your coloring workflow so you can color your artwork more efficiently. Colors or the same color. But now that you know how both properties work, you can find a sweet spot for your drawing where these 2 properties
I see. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, it didn't really help with this situation, but I did get something. I'll say. Oh. Hmm. Curses. I need to find another artist. Ara, ara. Let's see. What if I do this? I just know. I just don't know. Why is it that nothing ever works for me? I just don't know. This wasn't a problem before. Why is it a problem now? Eh, ande. Animator, coloring, character.
The vector layer is different from the raster layer. Raster layer will record the color in pixels, so the line will consist of many pixels.
While the vector layer will record the direction of the line, which can be drawn or edited by pens or brushes.
But some effect like bending cannot be applied to the vector layer.
Now back to the lining. To make
Some effect like bending cannot
So much information.
be applied to the vector layer.
Now back to the lining. To make you see the difference, we're doing two types of lining, with G pen and real pencil.
For those who like the handmade artistic, use the pencil. But if you want to be sharp and graphic-like, you can use the G pen.
What the heck? This brush size 1? Are we on the same thing? わからない。何もわからないんだ。どういうこと？やねん。どういうこと？I like literally have everything the same.
Selected layer will only refer to the layer you select.
Finally, layer in folder. We'll refer only to the layers in the current folder. Please use them as you see fit.
Look at the default tool that Clip Studio Paint provides. The only difference between refer only to editing layer and refer other layer is the usage of refer multiple, right?
When you distinctly separate the tools, they will be easier to use, so you don't need to change the setting every time.
You can also change the opacity of the color, and finally, anti-aliasing will soften the edge of the diagonal line.
Next is Auto Select, or you usually call it Magic Wand. It's a tool for selection like the Fill tool.
It's like filling, but selecting.
So the settings are similar to the Fill tool.
Now you know the tool. To make our work easier, let's make our own custom tool. And those two are
Color Replace tool and Color Select tool. The goal is to make them a Fill tool and a color selection tool that doesn't care about the threshold.
For example, if you want to change a specific color in the whole image,
or make a selection on a specific color to draw in.
To make your own custom tool, start with select the default tool to make a prototype. Then click Create a copy of currently selected subtool, and you will get another new tool.
You can rename and change icon and color. Now you got a new tool. Let's change the setting. We want to fill all the specific colors in the image, so you uncheck Apply to connected pixels only. We want to fill all the specific colors in the image, so you uncheck Apply to connected pixels only.
He. なんでやねん。どういうこと？
To save the setting you've done, open the
Holy crap.
It's a way of coloring similar to anime, which applies simple shading without blending to make it easy to animate.
but you can use other tools like gradient or effect.
Furthermore, you can use filters to create the atmosphere.
Since this style of coloring is very eye-catching, it isn't only used in animation but also illustration.
Its pros are
Easy to do,
less time consuming,
can be easily adapted and applied.
can be developed to the style of coloring. Before you start, you should get to know the tools first, so you work with ease.
We will introduce the tool based on the step of work. Start with sketching and lining.
In Clip Studio Paint, the tools will be categorized along with sub-tools. The tools for drawing are in the same category.
We suggest you try different pen and pencil tools and use the one that suits you.
So
Use
slow.
pencil tools for sketching and pen tools for the line. It's up to you.
You can also download more pen and pencil from Clip Studio assets.
Besides, there are varieties of brushes for you to use.
For example, an airbrush for making simple gradient or shape brush for making pattern.
When the lining is done, you will use the pen tool and the fill tool to color. We will also use the pen tool that gives a solid opacity line, like G-Pen for example. For fill tool, you will mainly use level only to editing layer and level of the layer.
Let's see the fill tool setting for a bit. If you check apply to connect pixel only, it will fill the connected area.
But if you uncheck it, it will not fill the connected area but the same color of the layer. For example, if you click on the blue area, it will fill only blue area in the layer with the color you choose.
Next is coarse gap. If set to 0 by filling and there are gaps between the area, they will also be filled.
But if increase the setting, it won't be go over small gaps. But if set it too high, it won't be filled evenly in the small areas.
Area scale.
Set it too high, it won't be filled evenly in the small areas.
Area scaling will allow you to fill a little bit more over the edge. It will help cover the edge between color and line.
But if set it too high, it will fill over the edge too much. Please be careful.
And this is scaling mode as well. You should try it. And this is scaling mode as well. You should try it.
Level multiple.
You should try. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Bruh.
will allow you to refer to other layers. Use this when laying in the line layers and coloring separately.
Why is the fill so
In
ugly?
the color layers, its options are 1. All layers will refer to every layer.
Reference layer will only refer to a layer that you set as reference.
3. Selected layer will only refer to the layer you select.
Finally, layer in folder will refer only to the layers in the current folder. Please use them as you see fit.
Look at the default tool that Clip Studio Paint provides. The only difference between refer only to editing layer and refer other layer is the usage of refer multiple, right?
When you distinctly separate the tools, they will be easier to use, so you don't need to change the setting every time.
You can also change the opacity of the color, and finally anti
Every time,
you can
easier to use, so you don't need distinctly.
other layer is the usage of refer multiple, right?
When you distinctly separate the tools, they will be easier to use.
Watching tutorial indeed, because I don't understand. Why is it that my fill tool is so shit? Like, it makes all these ugly little bumps and stuff. And, yeah, leaves a lot to be desired anyway. And I just don't get it. Like, doesn't really, it's like, I just don't understand why. This one's okay, actually. It feels like. But not really, I mean, if you just do this. I mean, it ended up, I don't know. I don't know what it is. But in any case, I am learning stuff. I learned how to, what the apply to connected pixels is. Like, I already knew close gap. I never understood tolerance until now. I know area scaling and tolerance now. Anti-aliasing is just to make it the coloring look smoother than, because like if there's always jagged lines or whatever. I mean, like it'd look more jagged than this if you turn this off. So there's no reason to turn it off. But and now I just learned how to use the refer multiple. Whoa, man, oh man. In any case, though, I guess it's like just a problem with the line that I'm making. In any case, though, yeah. So just here to learn right now. I could like put up a screen for it. Let's see. What is this YouTube thing anyway? Properties. It's Streamlabs. Okay. Where should I put it if I do put it? What's this? I think this is it. think if this was it, yes. Okay, and then put it up. Wow, it's so tiny. You can't see anything of it, but like, this is it. I don't know how much you want me to show. Yeah, I don't know the scaling. Let's see. It will go how this much, yes.
So you don't need to change the setting every time.
You can also change the opacity of the color. And finally, anti-aliasing will soften the edge of the diagonal line.
Next is auto select, or you usually call it magic wand.
All I know is that, okay, the lines definitely need to be more solid, and I need to somehow do that, but I guess just use brush size 2 because it looks more solid. Yeah, I'll just try that. Okay, so just gonna make another layer. I'm learning. After getting stumped the last time I streamed, I decided to just, yeah, start learning more things on the fly. Why not learn while I'm streaming? I don't see a reason why not. Better than looking at me do nothing for like 10 minutes and then come to a conclusion on what to do. That's how it usually goes. By the way, how's the stream for you if you are watching? I didn't check the quality. I should do that right now. You don't know. I mean, is the stream like freezing for you or anything? Or like, are you seeing pixely stuff on the screen? Go check it out myself anyway. Which one? I'll go with this one. And I go on there. Okay. Oh. Okay. You don't see any issues on your side. That's good. Okay. No issues. That's good to hear. Okay. This was the one. Okay, yeah. Here you go. Okay. But yeah, before I continue on with this tutorial, I must can do this fix first. Because apparently this one pixel G pen is just not good enough. It's not doing its job. But yeah, if you get any problems with the stream, just let me know. Because I changed the bitrate, made it smaller. And as a result, I think that you should have an easier time watching the stream, basically. Because you say that the stream sometimes cuts out for you, and Like, that would have to mean that your internet connection isn't very solid in some way. Whether it's bad download speed or just not like not a reliable connection. But you know, we'll see which one it is. Like if it's just low download speed, then you should be fine for the most part, I think. It really depends on your connection. Like if it's what, like 5 Mbps download or lower or whatever. You can run a speed test to find it though. Just, you know, Google speed test and you'll have speed test available right there with Google. Let's see. Okay, I'm on the final stretch. Let's hope that this works out, I guess. I can only say that's more solid because it's darker. I see more black, so therefore it is more solid. More solidified. Okay. This is the new what shading line art, I guess. All right. And now I'll just delete this one and fill it. Let's see how it goes. Area scaling. I mean, it's looking better anyway. I see improvement, okay? That's all I can really say, huh? Let's try area scaling. Okay, I see more improvement. That's actually a lot better. Let's lower the area scaling a bit because it'll fill less area as a result. Tolerance. I don't think that one matters, but I mean, it doesn't really. Okay, actually, you'd want it lower. You wouldn't want it to be there. Okay. Maybe you do want some. Let's see. Okay, it is filling up more as I bring it up. It's I'm seeing at the bottom right here. Okay. Yeah. It do be like that. Now, whether these subtle changes a difference or not is another question, I guess. But I mean, I think I see improvement. I think. Well, I mean, if I think so, then it must be the case. We'll just go with that. Okay. Yeah, I just want to improve the filling because for a long time, the fill tool has not done me any justice. And I always have to do cleanup and stuff, and it's like, isn't there like a better way to go about it? You know, like that's what I was always wondering on my mind. And yeah, just wanted to see if I can find a solution. Okay. Do that. Hey, what if I... do that? It looks smoother when I like use line art again. I mean, like just build up a line. Just like do that to some extent anyway. But yeah. I would have came on earlier, but my friend wanted to hang out a little bit. I was like, okay, I'll give you an hour. And we'll watch anime. Watch the detective anime, the Kamen Rider detective anime is called Futo Tante. And then we watched the prologue to Gundam, Witch from Mercury. Really good. That one has some really high quality productions. Felt like I was watching a Gundam Unicorn again. In case, for now, I'll keep it like this, and I will color the rest and see how it looks. Okay, thanks for coming along. Thanks for saying hi, Lucas. All right. Okay. Let's see. Next. We move on. Okay, thank you. See you. Let's see. So going to make this just less dark, of course. Then we're going to fill out this. And then we're going to do this. Refer to only the editing layer. And see how it goes. Let's see. I see. Question mark. I see. Question mark.
For selection like the field 2.
It's like filling but selecting.
So the settings are similar to the field 2.
Now you know the tool to make our work easier.
The settings like the field 2.
It's like filling but selecting.
So the settings are similar to the field 2.
Now you know the tool to make our work easier. Let's make our own custom tool. And those two are
Color replace 2 and color select 2. The goal is to make them a field 2 and a color selection 2. That doesn't care about the threshold.
For example, if you want to change a specific color in the whole image,
or make a selection on a specific color to draw in.
To make your own custom tool, start with select the default tool to make a prototype. Then click Create a copy of currently selected subtool, and you will get another new tool.
You can rename
All right.
Selected subtool. And you will get another new tool.
You can rename and change icon and color.
What was the purpose of this again?
Specific color in the whole image.
Or make a selection on a specific color to draw in.
To make your own custom tool, start with select the default tool. You sorted the edge of selecting.
So the settings are similar to the fill tool.
Now you know the tool. To make our work easier, let's make our own custom tool. And those two are
Color replace tool
Color replace tool and color select tool. Okay. Color replace tool.
and color select tool. The goal is to make them a fill tool and a color selection tool that doesn't care about the threshold.
For example, if you want to change a specific color in the whole image,
Or make a selection on a specific color to draw in.
to make your own custom tool, start with select the default tool to make a prototype. Then click Create a copy of currently selected subtool, and you will get another new tool.
You can rename and change icon and color. Now you got a new tool. Let's change the setting.
I'll make it black.
We want to fill all the specific color.
Uncheck this.
In the image, so you uncheck apply to connected pixels only.
Wait, that was it?
Only.
Oh. Okay. Oh, whoops. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so to try this, don't we kind of have to... Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I mean, none of these colors are like the same. Try this one and this one, right? That's kind of hot. Anyway, we'll cut this one. Then we'll put it here. Then we'll take that, put that here. And let's... Huh? Did it? Oh, it did. It did change. It did change the color. Okay. Interesting. So let's take this, right? And put this in the same layer. Okay. Nice, nice. Interesting. I would never use that, but I'll just have to do not save. I guess I wouldn't really ever use it though. Next is selection tool. Process is the same, just change tool to selection before creating. the magic wand, right? This is the part where I actually lower the speed. Open. This one. Eh. どういうこと？わからないな。なんでやねん。It selects outside. あれなんでやねん。わからねえ。どういうこと？ Hey, I got her leg. The chicken leg. Control fill.
To save the setting you've done, to save the setting you've done, open the subtool detail and click Save all setting as default.
After saving, if you accidentally change the setting and can't remember the default setting, just click Reset all setting to default.
Now you know the tool and create our own tool. Next, you will see the step of coloring. It won't be difficult to understand.
We have prepared the sketch, but before we go on with lining, we will make a guide for shading first.
The advantage of sketching is that you spend little time to do it, and you will focus on the direction of line and shade. So, no worry about the color.
When shading
Jesus
is
Christ,
done,
how did you do that?
let's move on with lining. We will make a guide for shading first.
The advantage of sketching is that you spend little time to do it, and you will focus on the direction of line and shade. So,
Fuck?
no worry about the color.
When the shading is done, let's move on with lining. We will use the vector layer for the lining.
The vector layer is different from the raster layer. Raster layer will record
The layer will record the direction of the line, which can be drawn or edited by pens or brushes.
but some effect like bending cannot be applied to the vector layer.
Now back to the lining. To make you see the difference, we're doing two types of lining, with G-pen and real pencil.
For those who like the handmade artistic, use the pencil. But if you want to be sharp and graphic-like, you can use the G-pen.
God. This is nuts.
You can find the tools to adjust the lines in the vector layer in the link in the video's description.
Oh God. That flower. I can't make lines this clean. Oh God, it's
When the
making me
lining is
stuck.
done, it's time for coloring. Begin with creating a raster layer and put it below the lining layer.
Then, use Fill tool for the base color. Use referral the layers to fill the area of the lining layer.
To prevent the white spot between the layers, there are an option fill up the vector part from fill tool. Instead of calculating from the color that this is there, it will calculate the vector line.
If you look at the detail, there's an include vector part checkbox as well. If you check it, it will fill the center of the line.
Okay, I guess. It does. What? Oh, okay.
If you draw in the existing character, you can use subview to show the image and use the color picker to get the same color. This is more convenient than open many images and switching
I forgot
between
about
them.
that. Forgot I had that option. The sub view. Ah. The base color. You had to do some fixing. I saw it. I saw it. Why is it getting so hot in here for some reason? Why? Gah. Okay.
If you want to change a specific color to another, you can use the new fill tool to easily change the color. Now, you can try coloring all you want without the hassle.
But be careful, if you set the anti-aliasing, the color must go over the edge. If you don't like it, you can undo before fill it again.
Now the base color is done. Next is shading. If you determine the direction of the light and shade when you sketch it, you can do the shading accordingly. Let's do it.
First, you need to create a new raster layer.
It will be more convenient if you keep the sketch layer, the lining layer, and the coloring layer into the separate folders, and set the refinement layer in folder in the Fill tool. This will help a lot in filling the color.
What did you just say? I couldn't even understand what you just said.
To the separate folders, and set the refinement layer in folder in the Fill tool. This will help a lot in filling the color. It will be more convenient if you keep the sketch layer, the lining layer, and the coloring layer into the separate folders, and set the refinement layer in folder in the Fill tool. This will help a lot in filling the color.
Then select the pen tool that have a solid opacity line, so you
Then select the pen tool that has a solid opacity line so you can fill the color evenly. Then draw the line to divide the shade according to the sketch.
can fill the color evenly. Then draw the line to divide the shade according to the sketch. Use the color you want, then
Use the color you want and use the pen to draw the line for the shading
to
area.
draw the line for the shading area. Or if you see some area that can be color, do it. You can also use the fill tool along this step.
You can adjust this as you see fit, because it was just a guide when you sketch it. If there is room for improvement, do it. But you should still use the sketch as a reference.
To prevent going over the edge, let's use the new selection tool that you created.
Oh. Oh my god, what am I looking at? I need to like make this playback speed so much slower. What in the heck? Oh gosh. How am I supposed to know to do that? How did it decide that? Oh. This is on 0.25 speed, 1/4 speed. Bruh. The power of being professional. Having experience. Doing the whole anatomy process, studying anatomy. Studying shading. Studying in art school. Lol. Look it out. Wow. How did you selection tool all that? How did it decide this? I don't understand. I'm guessing it's because he clicked on the skin, the face, the skin of the face. And that's how it decided it. Oh no. Tutorial. Now I need to go find the line art. Ah shit. Let's see. Anime. Wait, how to anime style coloring. Anime style. Line art. Clip. Video. Ay. What? Nika channel. There's anime style coloring again. Line art tutorial. I guess they didn't make. I wanna watch this. Illustrator. Maybe like a rough line art. Wow. Quite a long neck. With a hand around her neck. Interesting, yes. Not 1.2? What the heck? Oh man, I don't understand. Shaw pen. What the heck's a Shaw pen? That was quite the change. Shaw pen. You know, a tapered pen doesn't look so bad. So does textured pen. I should try these. Am I the only one that's like getting this kind of weird? Like, what is this? Is 0.8? Are you kidding me here? Like, why is it that mines end up like this? What's different about them, man? How's it that your brush size is 0.8, but you get that kind of result? What is it that they do that's different? Don't understand. What kind of layer did he just turn it to? Set as graph layer, maybe? That didn't do anything. Why don't I get the same results? I don't understand. you use this for the hair too? You did. Just what do you do to get those kinds of results? I don't understand. How'd you get that like really thick line going? What? Excuse me? What? Did you make you made a layer for that? Yeah, you did. Eh? Oh, what? He did the shading method. The cross thread free thing, I don't know. Oh. Okay, let me just try that myself, honestly. Whoops. I need. What? Okay, let's do this one then. That's better. And then you do this. Okay. Let's just go back to this one. So you did it like that, huh? Let's try to recreate that then. Okay. Let me just look at that again. Something like that, right? What made you decide this? I don't understand. uh, well, it certainly wasn't just random lines anyway. It's some kind of pattern that works. Did he change the size? He didn't. Oh my god. He just... all he did was go harder. Harder, man. Harder. Oh, crack. He did that. Shit. Oh man. Let's see, ruler unit, interface, tablet, all, no. I want to pen pressure settings. Let's see. Do I want that? In the end, you are going to get different results for every single one. Okay. Oh, I can feel my hand getting all wobbly. All right. Still don't understand anything, by the way. What'd you just do there? Edit? Was it transform? Is that what you went to? Okay, it changed the whole thing. Okay. This is the shading part. Wake wakane. I feel like an Ippanji. That's some regular guy. Ooh. He just used a texture tool thing. That thing that's used for manga. He fill tooled with a texture. A manga texture. What was that about? Ah, he did that and then he erased some of it. Oh my god! There's this. How does he do it like that? Now it feels hot again. I should open the window. See how that goes. It's 23 degrees Celsius. Oish. Ha! Ay, 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 ay. is using G Pen, but with that texture. Clip Studio asset. Ay, ay, ay. Where do I find this? Oh, there it is. I go to monochrome or color pattern. Seems to be the monochrome. Okay. I'm learning. The 60 LPI. There are so many. I don't even know what these are used for. There's this one. I think it's close. Okay. So I have to do this. Managing property. Texture. None. Circle. How does this thing work? How do you do this? How do you apply textures? I mean, I guess there's that, but like, that's not exactly what I wanted. I mean, this guy applied it to his freaking pen. CSP, apply tone, green tone brush. I mean, that's cool and all, but like... You're using Gpen at 1.5. Man. Am I just like doing something wrong? What's happening here? Webtoon, comic, hinting of fanzine, animation. Just wonder, did you just change the style? You just decide to change everything, make it darker. Oh. The style of shadowing. He wants the sun to be coming from the left front side. Or I guess it would be left back side, left front, left anyway. And she's facing away from the sun. Okay. What was that? How does that work? I see now. Oh, it wasn't applied to the G pen, it was just... I mean, I don't really understand how that worked, but like, it's like in the background or something. And then you just fill it with the G pen or anything really. And then it'll show up as the screen tone. Is that how that's supposed to work? Oh. Before you begin making tones, make sure illustration has a blah blah blah. Go to layer, new layer, tone layer. New layer. Tone. Oh my god. They just give it to you like that? Okay. And then what? There it will give you a full list of settings that you can play with. Personally, I prefer to just render the tones now and edit the settings later. Click on the layer mask and edit the layer. The area using any drawing color for spot you want to have tones. And transparent eraser for areas you don't want to have tones. I'm on the layer mask right now, aren't I? Yeah, I am. So then I just delete it, right? And then I do that. For that. Oh my god. So that's how that's done. Oh! Oh! I learned something about how manga's done. Ah, shit. Of course. Oh. Pixel. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm reading this and I don't get it. And this guy's like, no wonder. It's like, am I the only one that's not understanding what he's talking about right now? It's very sensitive to pen brush pressure. What the heck is their alphabet? What the heck is alphabet? I don't know. I don't know what alphabet is. Oh my god. In any case, though. I'm learning a lot. What do I do? I will go ahead and include this in my drawing notes. Layer, new layer, tone. Bruh. Oh. Okay, let's run line weight then. Line weight. Let's do Clip Studio. Adjust line width. I mean, that's not really what I want, but... What the heck is this?
Flaming Clear 2.0.
Ah, crap. I'm gonna be sneezing a lot. Oh, that pizza does look alright. It's a pretty fat crust. Fat,
So for this video, somebody asked me if I had some tips for doing this kind of like thicker line art. So that's why I'm making this video. First of all, you can see here I have like the regular line art. I guess you could say this is sketch. I guess stage 2 of the sketch. You know, I did this is like this drawing, right? I'm gonna create a layer just on top of it, and I'm gonna lock this so I don't draw there by mistake.
he's very
And
quiet.
then what I can do is I can go here with a brush. So I just go black and white, and like I'll be just switching depending on what I need. So for example, I just put, or I'll do white.
On a
and I'll
turnip
delete
brush.
the you know, I cover the mistakes pretty much. And the cool thing about this is like I'm not affecting the other layer, so I'm just covering. You're gonna be, you know, like sculpting, like you're like taking away and adding. You know, you can add more, you can take it away. So that's pretty much the idea behind this, right? So you can go in areas that, you know, that need more black and stuff like that. That's the main idea, but now I'm gonna give you some tips, stuff that you can do in Clip Studio that I like to do. So for example, you know, let's say this was like the original actually, right? Like with thin lines, you know, I did a sketch like that. And then I want to go here because this is a vector layer. I can actually go here, and then you have these different settings. You can thicken the, you know, if it's thicker now, this thinner. Lines, I make them thinner.
Man. I'll never understand how to get this result. Like, why is it that your lines are so... Your brush size is so tiny, yet you get such results that aren't like this. Hey, what the fuck are these pixels? What are these? Uh...わからねえ。Let's see if we go here. $150 DPI. Oh. I'll do 5,000 by like 3,500 or something. We'll try the 350, whatever. I don't know. Brush size is at 1. Brush size is at 1. What do you even do, man? What is it that you're doing that I'm not getting? Your brush size is at 1. Look at how tiny mine is in comparison. Holy, I can't even see this. Holy. What is it that I'm doing that's different, yo? I'm not doing anything different. So why? Why are your results so freaking different? I don't understand. And I never will. Is it my tablet? Is that what it is, huh? You don't even see anything at that point. You don't even see anything. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Ah. Ah. How do you make it all bubbly anyway? Yoku wakarane koto. Hmm. Oh. No sense of direction, no sense of aim.
Then use the pen to draw the line for the shading area. Or if you see some area that can be color, do it. You can
Do it. My brush size is on 20 right now. I can't believe it. It just became so thin after. Like, why? Why do you gotta do this? I'm getting a headache. I mean, I'm saying that, not actually getting one, but like, damn, man. What I gotta do? What I gotta do? What's a guy gotta do? What I do? What I do? Ay. All right. I'll stop here. I don't know. I gotta think about it more. I'm testing so many things, and it's crazy. It is honestly crazy. Oh well. This has been DTB Death to Boredom. Signing out.